Hi guys, it's Lynn here. Hope you're having an amazing day. Now today guys, I have this absolutely beautiful new addition to our plant family to show you. And this gorgeous cactus is actually a Rhipsalidopsis rosea, was formerly called Horticultural rosea. And it is obviously part of the Easter Cactus family, the rainforest epiphytic cactus plants. And this absolutely beautiful, it's one of the miniature forms of Easter Cactus, which comes under the Horticultural category. But now it's now mainly called Rhipsalidopsis. And the most common type of Rhipsalidopsis is this one here with the Easter Cactus with the larger sort of stem segments. And this one is the more miniature form. And I have a couple of these already in my collection here. I'll just show you. We have this lovely one here that was gifted to me by my wonderful friend Rachel at Gardening at Dwenser. And little tiny cutting. And it has grown so well over the years. As you can see, lovely leaf segments, lots of new growth. And this one was gifted to me by my friend here at the Cactus Society here in Belfast, and this was a recently new addition, about 3 months old, and that's doing very well. But this one here is a lovely, huge, very old Horticultural here, rosea, absolutely beautiful. Now, I go to college here in Belfast, Horticultural College, where I'm studying horticulture. And my wonderful friend Jenny, she has a few plants, and she said, Lynn, she said, I have a few cacti, and I really think they'd be better going to a better home. She said, would you care for them for me? And of course, you know me. Yeah! So she bought me in some lovely succulents and some cacti the previous week, which was absolutely amazing. We've got them in the polytunnel. And this one here is absolutely breathtaking. Now, Jenny has had this for many years. As you can see, it's a very old plant, very woody at the base, and it's very dehydrated. She said she sort of left it there and forgotten about it, and it sort of usually flowers every year with the little tiny pink flowers, because the Horticultural rosea, the Rhipsalidopsis rosea, is a little bit different to the normal commonly seen Easter cactus that has the slightly bigger pink flowers or the red flowers. This one has much smaller flowers, and I have had my other little tiny Rhipsalidopsis flower before in the past with little tiny pink flowers. Absolutely beautiful. So you can imagine what this plant's going to look like when it's all in flower. Gorgeous. Actually, it does flower for her most years, even though she just leaves it. But as you can see, it's very dehydrated. Now, it's been given a good water. Jenny says she just sort of forgets about it, throws a bit of water on it in the past when she remembers it, and she's not really into cacti or succulents. This plant was gifted to her, and then her daughter had it for many years, and then Jenny sort of had it back. And she says she really wants it to go to a good home. So I'm doing this video now for two reasons. One is to show you a lovely new baby to our cactus family. And I've got it here next to our big Schlumbergera, commonly known as the Thanksgiving or Christmas cactus. That is full in lovely seed pods all over it at the moment, that I cross-pollinated very successfully. So stay tuned for a future video on that. And it's going to be next to this here in our kitchen, where it's near to a south-facing window, but away from the window, so it's not going to get intense direct sun. It's just going to get a little bit of indirect sun, which is perfect for these type of plants. And I have some Rhipsalidopsis and Schlumbergera, the Easter and Christmas cactus, in our polytunnel outside. But because this is new, obviously it needs a lot of TLC. This is going to be kept in the house here near to the window, but away from directly in front of the window, and let it recover. And as you can see, I'm just going to show you here what it looks like now. I'm going to be filming update videos on this cactus, because this is a rescue cactus. As you can see, it's very dehydrated. And Jenny did her best at looking after it, but it really does need a lot of TLC and a bit of reviving. And me and Hansi are going to give it loads of love. And I'm going to be sort of filming how it goes on over the next few weeks and months. I'm determined to get this beauty in beautiful flower, if not this year, definitely for next year. And it looks pretty good how it is in its pot. I'd love to give it a repot and freshen up the soil, but the last thing I'd want to do is do that now, because the plant's already in shock. It's been transported, it's been moved. It's needing desperate care of recovery. So the last thing I want to do is to repot it now, maybe leave it for a year, maybe next year when it's settled into here a lot more. Now, what I am going to be doing is, obviously, now It's been well watered at the moment, and always with epiphytic cacti, always allow the soil to dry out in between waterings. Don't keep them permanently wet. But unlike desert cacti, they do like to be kept much more moist and much more humidity than the desert cacti, even in the winter. So I have made videos on how to care for epiphytic rainforest cacti. So if you have these type of plants, Schlumbergera and Rhipsalidopsis, and you want to know how to care for them, then a couple of links up above to a video, one on how to care for Christmas cactus, similar care also for Easter cactus. So do check that out. I'm going to be doing an individual video for caring for Easter cactus. It's slightly different, but pretty much the same, especially with their water requirements and things. And also a video on how to care for epiphytic rainforest cacti. Links up above to 2 of them videos. And that will give you a bit of an idea how to care for the rainforest cacti, because they are completely different care requirements to the desert type of cacti. And so what am I going to do to revamp this beauty then? Well, first of all, it's been given a good water. It's obviously in a position here, and it's dark at the moment, guys, but it's getting light, where it is away from a south-facing window. It's actually on the table here in our kitchen, but it does get sun, even in the winter, that comes across here. So it gets a little bit of indirect sun. But obviously when the warmer weather comes, spring and summer, I'm going to be putting this outside with all the other epiphytic cacti I have, possibly onto the plant stand, and away from winds and excess rain. We get plenty of fresh air. But in and out for the winter, it's going to be kept in here. So, and now what I've done here, because they're epiphytic, as you can see, the stem segments here are very, very dehydrated. So it doesn't matter how much I water this, which is the last thing I want to do is overwater. It's only going to take up so much water. It's very desperate. Jenny's probably had this in a very heated environment, and they like a lot more humidity. So I've made a little bottle here. I've got rainwater. And what I've done, which is a little bit different, I've actually used Rescue Remedy. I'm a holistic therapist, as well as a plant gardener. And that's what I do. I do holistic therapies, mostly on people, but I also do healing and crystal therapy and Reiki on my plants. And I have had great success. And I've already made a video in the past on how to use crystals with houseplants. So I can actually put a link up above to that video if you haven't seen that. Do check it out, guys. Crystals not only look beautiful around your plants, but they do have lovely healing properties. And, you know, it doesn't matter if you guys laugh or not. It's personally, I believe, if you believe that, it works. And from my experience, it definitely does. And I know a lot of you guys who follow me are big fans of crystals and holistic therapies as well. And follow me on my other channel, Dreaming of Avalon, where I share with my best friend and ex-partner, Sean, where we talk about crystals and alternative therapies. So do check that channel out, guys, if you haven't done already. Links also up above. I know it's totally different to this video, but I'm just mentioning that one. I'm talking about the healing. So I'm going to be doing lots of Reiki and healing and some crystal therapy on this beautiful Rhipsalidopsis to bring it back to health. So when I do that, do stay tuned for a future video when I show you how I do healing on my plants. And guys, you can laugh all you want, but I can tell you it definitely helps. And the power of the mind, if you're putting that thought out there to help this plant, personally from my experience, it works. It's not going to do any harm, and I'm going to show you how you can do it on your plants too. If you have a plant that's not looking that well, how you can send lovely healing to your plant to pick it up. So I'm going to be giving this lots of healing. I'm going to put some crystals around it, and stay tuned for a video when I do that, how you can use holistic therapies on your house plants, including your cacti and succulents. Now, what I have done, I've made a little rainwater bottle here. I'm going to be thoroughly every day, 3 times a day, to rehydrate this plant without putting water into the soil. I'm going to be completely hydrating this, misting this. And with epiphytic cacti, they do have tiny little roots that come out the end of the segments, because they're epiphytic. They take moisture from the air. They naturally grow hanging from trees in their natural environment. So this plant is going to be taking moisture from the air here. So 3 times a day, we thoroughly soak in the stem segments only of this plant so it can hydrate itself. And what I've done, I've put some Rescue Remedy. I put 4 drops of Rescue Remedy. In this case, I'm using batch remedies into this water bottle. And I'm going to be using that on this plant. Now, Flower Remedies is another natural alternative therapy that's completely safe to use on your house plants and also in your garden. And I have a little book, I'll show you this here. I'm going to do a separate video on this because it's another thing. The Batch Flower Gardener, a guy called Stefan Ball has done a book on how to use these batch flower remedies on your house plants and also your garden plants. And it's good, say, if you buy a new house plant or you're transplanting plants or moving plants about and you want them to settle into their new environment, a couple of drops of, or two, I use 4 drops of rescue remedy in a little spray bottle, and you can either water it into the soil or spray it. In this case, I'm going to be spraying it onto this plant here, and that's going to also help with its rescue. Now, I'm not going to go into detail about flower remedies because it's a completely new video again. So stay tuned for a future video on how you can use flower remedies, in this case batch or any type of flower remedy, on your house plants to help them recover when they're not doing too good. And that is another video entirely, so do stay tuned for that. I have plans to make that because I'm going to be using this Rhipsalidopsis here as an example. And as I say, this works by vibrational medicine. There's no actual trace of these actual... The rescue remedy is a combination of different remedies. And this is perfectly safe for people and animals as well, and plants. And as I say, I'm going to be spraying this, so 3 times a day. I'm going to give this a good spray now. Just get this started. There you go. Now, the reason why I'm doing the stem segments, as I say, it's epiphytic, so this is going to take moisture in from the air. And as I say, it's got rescue remedy in this rainwater. Rainwater is always best, especially for epiphytic plants. And this is going to recuperate over the next few days, and stay tuned for future videos, guys. And as I say, stay tuned for future video on how you can use holistic therapies on your houseplants. So guys, I hope you like our beautiful new addition. And Jenny, thank you so much for this absolutely beautiful cactus. I can assure you it's gone to a lovely, lovely home, and it's going to be well loved. And you will not believe what this cactus looks like in a few months' time. It's going to be absolutely blooming beautiful. So guys, thanks so much for watching. And if you want to know a bit more about how to grow cacti and succulents, or you're new to the hobby, or you just want to have a nosy, do go over and check out my website, desertplantsofavalon.com. And if you go into the growing tips section, hover your mouse over the growing tips, there's a drop down bar, and I talk about lots of individual things, how to care for your plants, the correct lighting, the correct soil, and lots of things like that on there, the different types of cacti. And I'm going to add so much more on there, guys. And I've got plans for a future ebook as well coming, so stay tuned for that. And thanks so much for watching, guys. I want to send you loads of love, heaps of happiness, and tons of plant power. As always, from across the Emerald Isle. Until the next video, bye.